welcome everybody. I'm ThisCatDraws. You might have saw my stuff on Twitter or Instagram, though not so much on Instagram. I'm more of a Twitter artist, I guess. You don't need to be an artist to follow along, you know. You can have like the concept in your head, which I think is one of the most fun things about designing stands is it can literally be anything. Uh, as you know, if you've read JoJo or watched JoJo, you know that it can literally be anything, including I haven't read Stone Ocean yet, but I think a character's power is rods. I don't know what that means, but that's their power. So it can literally be anything. That in mind, you can go completely crazy with actually designing your stand. But initially, you're going to want to have sort of a concept in mind, I think, which is really important when you're talking about stands. So it depends kind of on what, if you're going from part 3, which was tarot, but also songs. So, you could do a tarot card, but honestly, if you don't want to stay to like songs or artists, you can do names of anything really, like tarot cards they used, but you can use like chemical names, or like names of like different types of songs like bossa nova or like minuet or something like that. You can go completely crazy, but what you want to have is like a firm concept, which is not it can be anything, which I think is the most fun part, like I said. For example, I guess I'll talk about mine. My stand is Barracuda, which is my favorite song by Heart. If you haven't listened to it, definitely highly recommend. It's the best. It has a bass riff, which is like just so good. In fact, when I had my wisdom teeth taken out, apparently I don't remember this, but apparently when I woke up, I was singing the bass riff to Barracuda.
That was
So
funny. Oh my God.
apparently, I don't remember, but apparently I woke up just going da, 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 Barracuda, like with my mouth full of cotton and stuff. So why not make it my stand? If it's clearly subconsciously influential. So now that you have sort of like your idea, your song or your concept, you can really base the rest of your design off of that. And you also want to consider, do you want it to be more humanoid? Do you want it to be more abstract, Mariah's stand, which was literally just I'm looking at it right now and I can't remember the word, like a power cable. What do you call those things? You know what I'm talking about. But it can literally be that. It can literally be like, how you have Star Platinum, who's basically just a huge purple man. Or you could even say like, my stand is this, if you want if you want to go full deviant art, you can say like, my stand is this cool, sparkle dog wolf. You know what? And you can. But I will say that the majority of stands, I feel like I'm lecturing. Sorry, everyone. I wish I had something fun to be showing you, but I will eventually. Yeah, exactly. The world's purple twin. There's like a yellow silver punchy boy, and then there's the purple punchy boy, and you can have something that's literally just a pink punchy boy, like say Crazy Diamond. You can literally just make it a person, and then just slap a color scheme on there and call it a day. But also, yeah, so like I said, you can have it humanoid, you can have it more abstract, you can have it more monstrous, I guess. But I would say in recent chapters, and I'm very saying this very loosely because my recent chapter that I've read of Jojo Lion was a while back, because I just haven't been able to follow it. As I'm sure lots of people also haven't been able to follow it, because I think it might be JoJo's bizarrest adventure yet, with rock people and wasps and fruit, and I'm not entirely sure who the villain is yet. Um, anyway, Mostly humanoid recently. Where if you're talking about, I guess, Soft and Wet or Paisley Street, I think it's called. I forget. Sorry. Yeah, yeah. I think everyone can agree that Jojo Lion is the bizarrest adventure yet. But super fun because the stands can literally they go so off the rails, which I think is so fun in terms of design because it just gives you even more freedom to do whatever you want. And their powers, the powers of the stand don't even have to relate in terms of um, you're going to want them to have sort of a synergy with their stand user, although not necessarily. I think it's fun if the color schemes match. Like for example, Star Platinum is purple. We all know this, but like he also matches with the purple of the shirt that Jotaro wears underneath his coat, and the yellow of his chain with the yellow stripies on Star Platinum. And you know how in part 4 he has that sort of pastel turquoisey color scheme going on. So you want to have like a certain synergy, although it's not required. It can be fun to have like a character have like a cool tones color scheme, and their stand maybe has like a warm tone color scheme. It could be fun. Vice, have them sort of play off each other like that. But I've gone off enough in terms of sort of lecturing at you guys about stand design and color schemes and whatnot. Does anyone have any questions? I mean, it might be a little early for questions, but I want to sort of engage, sort of feel like what do you guys want to know about designing a stand? And if you just have any general questions for me or anyone else. If I've looked at a lot of what Araki has said. Yeah, Orion. Yeah, that's super cool. I think that's a super cool concept because you can even take, if you want to have like a character that's in universe and you're thinking of building it inside the JoJo universe, taking a concept that already exists, like the Stone of Asia or the Stone Mask, even, and making that a stand, which I think is super fun. I've actually done that with, let me find that now. I can sort of show you in a way. I made a stand for Caesar, if I can find it. And I did this, I actually designed it last time I was here at Passione Con, which was super fun. And I hope you guys, if you weren't attending that, I hope you're going to learn some stuff this time. So Caesar stand, I know it's really crappy quality, but I hope you guys can get the general gist of it.
You can definitely see it, Gwen. Don't worry about it.
You can? Okay, good. You know what? If your stand can be a door, honestly, if there was a stand that's like literally just a plug in the wall, you could have this. Actually, you could do some really cool stuff with a stand that's just a door. Because like you can have it like do different dimensions. If you open the door, like you get tricked into opening the door and get trapped in there, that sort of thing. I mean, my stand, you can also reuse powers from other stands. I mean, mine, not intentionally, but I kind of just did Death 13 over again, although with some added spice. But yeah, so thank you, everybody. I'm glad you liked it. Sort of building off a concept that already exists in universe, like Caesar's bubbles or Hamon or what have you. You can really, and yeah, exactly. A ship can be a stand. You can literally do anything. Yeah, literally, it can be anything you want. And I think that's the most fun part. You can even make it like, I was gonna say, you can even make it a puppet or like a doll or something, and they already did that. What was his name? What was his name? The guy who attacked Polnareff. It wasn't the Hanged Man, but they thought it was. Anyway, it was in part 3. I forget. Baraba stand. You can just make it be a stand that's a representation of their love. You can do that if you want to. And sometimes it's really fun if you sort of maybe even go off the lyrics. uh, of the song if you're doing a song concept. Vine stands, yeah. You can do vine stands. You can do look at all those chickens, and it can be like like a horde stand. Not a horde stand, what do you call them? Multiple stands. I forget what they're called, but like a group stand in there. Yeah, or a cockatrice, a colony stand. Thank you so much, Jin. Yeah, a colony stand. It could just be a colony of chickens, and they can, sort of a la that famous Skyrim mod. They could just blow up when you touch them. I think that would be fun, and very much in universe. I think that sounds like something that could actually happen. It's bizarre enough that you can do that. So yeah, just yeah, or yeah, like Kaku's from The Legend of Zelda. Yeah, absolutely. You could base it off of that even. Yeah, or so really, what I'm getting at is that you need a firm concept. Although, as we've seen, Araki sort of is just like, I'll take that concept and then I'll change it randomly. Like Star Platinum's powers is now stopping time, and there's not really he does what he wants, which you should do what you want with your stand, because like I said, and as we've been talking about, anything can happen, and you can let your imagination run wild. But you do want a pretty firm color scheme. I mean, you can get crazy with colors if you want to, but usually you want to choose at least like I'd say around 4 colors, usually speaking, and more bright and vivid is more the style of JoJo, I feel like. But honestly, you can use muted colors if you want to.
I was gonna say I totally agree with you, and I think that's kind of the important part. Like JoJo colors are insane, but
Yes.
they
Hmm.
all, but like every character has a key group of colors that kind
Right.
of bind them together and make them the character. So you
Exactly.
can go ham on colors as
Hmm.
long as you
Hmm.
kind of,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. As long as it's cohesive, and you feel it represents the concept you're trying to portray. For example, and it can even be fun if yeah, like a black and white stand, Bailey. I think that's a perfect example. It's as long as it's bold, it's eye catching, it's different, it's unique. That's what you're looking for, which can be super hard to do, actually. And it sounds easy where you can say like, oh, just throw some colors on it, and on a punchy man and call it a day. You can do that, but it is yeah, that's very cool, Bailey. I like that idea. The using light to make weapons. I think Dolce, didn't you say that was something like your stand power? Am I wrong?
That's my stand. That's awesome. I'm so glad that I'm not the only one who thought that was going to be a cool
Yeah,
idea.
I was about to say.
Yeah, yeah. My stand's name was called well, it was called something else, so I changed it to Dirty Angel because
Mhm.
that's the song I'm very much
Very cool.
into. And it's very cool. You never, I should commission you because I've never seen you draw it.
Good commission.
Yeah, anyway, sorry, just wanted to tell that. Good taste. Good taste,
Dorian
Bailey.
Electra, very cool. Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I said, my stands concept is more or less the same thing as Death 13, and you can reuse concepts and just make them your own. I think that's really cool. Honestly, you can make things as OP as you want. Eris, that's super cool. I really like the idea of just a magician's hat, like that is the stand, like an object where you're like, it's not to talk about Harry Potter, but sort of like a port key where you can sort of have it be anything, but it has so much of a interesting Bravo's quirk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can. I mean, you can even cross fandoms over and draw like a concept from something else, and make it into a stand. I think that's the most fun part about stands is they have so much variability, and you can make them as OP as you want. I said this last time, and I hope I'm not just like going over exactly the same thing that I said last time. It's been a while, so I kind of forgot what I said back then. Ooh, a pen. I love that. I think that's very cool. Um, like I said, you guys have so many cool stand ideas already that like you can expand on them, or like make them like make a humanoid form. If you have like, if it's just a hat, maybe it has like an altar appearance or something. I mean, obviously it can just be a hat, like you said, or a pen. I think that's super cool. Because the more bizarre, the better, really. The more you want to go far enough with the concept to make it, yeah, a head with legs. It can be that, which I think is super cool. That's super fun. I love hearing about people's stands. I think it's one of the most fun things about JoJo is hearing about people think their stands would be, or stands they made for their OCs, or just like stand ideas they have. Um, so yeah, speaking about power in terms of what powers a stand can have, it can again sort of follow the same concept of it can be anything, and it can be as OP as you want, really. Because you know, if it can stop time or turn everyone to snails or reset the universe, like who says your stand can't have the power of the moon or gravity or something, you know? Oh, Tiny Dancer. That's perfect. I love that song. That's really cute. So yeah, so sort of going off that, um, for example, I'm just spitballing here. If you had a stand maybe that had like usually it's not I've noticed this, it's not usually the concepts themselves, the songs usually don't come from songs with names in them, although if you're going for like it usually has like a name, something something something. Although I don't think there has been any stands that are just like a name of a person, like a real name, like um Dorian, or you know, I don't think they've ever had that. That's interesting, because there are so many songs that are just like a person's name. But for example, if you're, yeah, abbreviating long names, I mean, if you're going to use like Dirty Deeds Done Cheap is a pretty long name. But if you're going to do like say a Fallout Boy title, you might want to shorten it a little bit. A cinema that's very cool. Ah, the Lumineers. That's super cool. You guys are so creative. I love every single thing you're saying here. Like it's I can just so picture them in my head. And the ideas that you're putting out are like it fits so much in universe that I'm just like, where's season my songs that you did in the dark. Yeah, exactly. Because why not, right? Like it sounds like JoJo that they'd have it, you know, in brackets and it'd be super long and fill up an entire speech bubble to just say the stand's name. I think that's really funny. Bittersweet Symphony. I love that song. Um Radioactive. That's very cool. Yeah, see, like you can even gather sort of what Bailey said. You can even take ideas from songs of a band and make that their power. Speaking of just like spitballing in terms of just making up a stand on the spot, um, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, right? You could make it sort of have some sort of power to do with diamonds. You could have it something to do with sound. You could have it something to do with technicolor stuff or like illusions. You can you know, just sort of spitball off just that one name, and you can do stuff with the sort of sound of the song. Like if it sounds airy and sweet and, you know, mystical, it can have a power that's sort of like that, or an appearance that's like that. And it's, I mean, it's up to you to make it like, if you have a really airy sweet song and then the stand is really scary and intimidating, I think that's cool. But usually you, again, not to harp on about this, but like a cohesive idea is what you want to do, really. If you want it to really stick in the memory of like the your hypothetical readers slash viewers. Space Cadet, I love that. But yeah, if there's a stand that can turn into a dinosaur and then make other people turn into smaller dinosaurs, you can do anything. That's the fun part. So if anyone has any questions, again, so I'm not just like talking my everyone to sleep on design, because you're not attending a lecture, you're supposed to be attending a panel. It's supposed to be fun. So anyone have any questions in terms of like a process of designing a stand, or if you have any tips on doing colony stands? That's a great question. A colony stand, you're even going to want to make, you're going to really focus in on the concept, because Harvest, Sex Pistols, all the colony stands that you've seen before usually are all the same object, but with slight differences to sort of give them a personality, but you want them to work as a whole, because you're going to want to make the concept that though there are many, they are all the same concept. I keep using that word.
Can
I'm sorry.
I can I
Mhm. Yeah,
just
no,
talk
please
about
go ahead, Dolce. Go ahead,
can I talk about Sex Pistols really fast?
please. I know you love to talk about them. Go ahead.
I do. Okay. So
The
Sex
beautiful baby
Pistols
boys.
So Sex Pistols is at first glance not really a colony stand because it's very like about like every single one of them is dynamic and interacts with each other in very almost aggressive ways. Like
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
actively butt heads.
Mhm.
But I like it and I think it fits because it's a very good reflection of Misa. Misa
Mhm.
is a
Mhm.
character who presents this very devil may care, I'm good with that attitude, and his stands do all the emotions and arguing and
Right.
bickering for
Yes,
him. So it
definitely.
also kind of represents how he takes care of people. He takes
Mhm.
care
Mhm.
of them. He looks after his team. So
Definitely.
basically, what I'm saying, besides my Misa love, is that's an example of a colony stand that, while not actually like a colony,
Mhm. Mhm.
definitely is still a really wonderful rendition of its user.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
that's,
Mhm.
I think any design like that is super cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Dolce. I think that's a really good point. Where it's sort of they're all these tiny little garlic-headed yellow men. But they each have so much personality in each of them. Even though there are many, they all have the same concept of being chaotic but also unity. So I think that could be really fun for Colony because you could sort of do more of a hive mind. In contrast to the Sex Pistols, Harvest is more just like a whole bunch of little bug guys, you know, which don't have much personality because I think Araki was more focused on stands being a reflection of their person. I think he sort of led into that more with part five rather than part four. But then again, Echoes, I think, had a really good, although not a colony stand, is sort of like a expression of the subconscious. Um, yes, yes, all around the watchtower. But yeah, the fact that they can be any stand really can be an expression of the stand user, which I think is a really fun concept to get into. I think it's a whole other bag of worms to design an actual JoJo character because that's a whole nother thing. But making the stand either mirror the actual stand user is cool, but you can also make them like Sex Pistols, where Mista is so, blasé and cool and like whatever. And then all of his stands are just like crazy. I think that's fun. You can show different facets of the personality. If your stand user is like a cutesy little girl, and then the stand is like this huge horrible monster, I think that's super cool. That's a great concept to show so much more about your character. So a stand can really be a vehicle of character development. I think that's super cool when people expand on that in JoJo Fix, like Star Platinum is like super affectionate and showing all this affection to his friends, where Jotaro doesn't. I think that's super cute. I'm getting off topic. But tips to make a stand with more than one act. Yes, absolutely. As someone who loves Pokemon so much, draw a lot of inspiration from that. Which I mean, if you're not like a diehard Pokemon fan like I am, or Digimon even, um, I think, yeah, Bailey, that's perfect. I think that's a great example of a stand sort of paralleling its user. Yeah, in terms of making it really, if you look to Koichi, and also I know it's not like necessarily an act stand, but Gold Experience versus Gold Experience Requiem, you're gonna want to make it have the appearance of literal growth as well as sort of a reflection of how its powers have improved. So, for example, Koichi does this, and his stand does this in the most obvious way in terms of being an egg, then a larva, then like a tadpole, and then like a person. You know how evolution works. But you're going to want to make it, I think that might be the most easy way to do it. It might not be the most fun way, but you can show like a literal growth in terms of it being smaller, weaker, rounder. Typically you're going to want to make it as it grows up have sharper edges, more details. Yes, like Tusk, absolutely. Tusk. I completely forgot Tusk has acts. What am I talking about? I love Joe. Johnny is like, I kin him. So what I completely forgot. But yeah, Tusk Act 1, little baby. You know, is literal like a little squeaky toy, which is so cute because it shows it really reflects Johnny's mental state in that he's so, you know, vulnerable, and he feels himself to be weak. He feels himself to be like a little crybaby, like something small that needs to be protected. And as Tusk evolves, exactly, you can physically see it, that it has longer arms, more bulk to it physically. I mean, Tusk Act 4 is like, you know, you've all seen it. But yeah, you're going to want to make the first act, you want it to be something small, you want it to be something vulnerable looking, you want it to be something really draw traits from even chibis, where it's something with like a larger head, a smaller body, a rounder figure, maybe even paler, softer colors, to sort of reflect that it's not its final stage. And then if you get all the way to Act 4, you're going to want something imposing. You're going to want something maybe autonomous, like Gold Experience Requiem is. You want something that looks almost too humanoid, or even monstrous. I think that's really cool, that Tusk turns into like this like man thing. And you know, the same with Echoes Act 3, it turns into like a little person, so it becomes more humanoid. And of course, Gold Experience Requiem's eyes are like a weirdly like a person, which I think is great. I think the more physically imposing you make it, or if you want to go the complete opposite direction, which could be really fun to show like a character's mental degradation. I mean, if you want to go into that, you can show it as something big and imposing, and then Act 2 is something less and less and less, you know, as it goes on. So it's like a reverse evolution. That might be a fun idea if anyone wants to hop in on that. But yeah, in terms of act stands, I think they're a really cool, underused concept, because I feel like every protagonist should have had like acts as their stand, because I think it's such a cool way to show character growth. Because like, I mean, literally Koichi was an egg. Um, yeah, I think that's a great idea, Jen. I think that's perfect. Like literally something like a baby, something vulnerable, something clumsy, something flimsy, like a baby horse or a baby deer. You can think of animals, tadpoles, even. You know, something that's completely vulnerable and weak, is what you want to sort of exude. Something that can't defend itself quite yet, that needs nurturing, that clearly has potential. You also want to show potential in your character. Like it wants to, you might want it to have like bright colors, or even like how Tusk Act 1 has stars all over its body. That sort of ties it in, like it might become something great and powerful, like a star. Yeah, exactly. A stand that only appears to defend the user in an extremely dire situation is super cool, because that can also show, you know, how the stand user themselves like thinks about, like they can handle it. They don't need their stand. I think that's a cool concept too. A stand that only really shows up when it's needed, as opposed to sort of just shows up and hangs out, like Sex Pistols gets fed salami and hangs around. I love the Sex Pistols. I think they're one of my favorite stand. Just the concept is so fun.
Same.
I know that Dolce loves Sex Pistols as well.
I
Um,
do.
they're just so fun. They're like the perfect. They're Taco Bell, Italian Taco Bell. Um, yeah, and I think that's also a really fun point, just to hop on off of Sex Pistols. Stands that just that talk back to their user is so rarely implemented in JoJo, which I really, 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 really want to see more of. Although I think in terms of the actual source material, JoJo Lion and Steel Ball Run pretty much nixed that. And as far as I know, I haven't read Stone Ocean yet, but I don't think there's so much interactive stands in that either. Stands that resemble childhood toys would be really cool. That would also be really cool if you're making an axe stand where something is literally like a teddy bear and then it grows up to be like a grizzly bear. I think that's really cool. Dopia, that's great. That's a really great idea. Sort of a stand that interacts with other people as well, which Sex Pistols does a lot. I'm talking so much about Sex Pistols, but I think they're great. But yeah, I think stands that interact with the world around them and people around them is so interesting and says so much about the character themselves. For example, Thomas the Tank Engine. Thomas the Tank Engine is just a little toy engine, and then it becomes a literal freight train. I love that. That'd be hilarious. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Orion. That's exactly what I was thinking. But yeah, the idea of a stand sort of reflecting their users' inner thoughts, sort of like a daemon. I know I said this last time, but if anyone else has read his Dark Materials, which you should, it's great. I like to think of stands as sort of like that in terms of Matryoshka dolls. That is super cool, Jen. That's a great idea. Absolutely, someone should do that. That's like such a concept on its own. Like literally one huge one that has little stands, and that's so cool. I love that. Someone should absolutely do that. That's great. I'm actually looking at I painted some Matryoshkas from for Christmas a couple years ago. And that's so funny you mentioned that. I could have another 10-15 minutes just to address like some other smaller questions if people want. I mean, if that's it, does everyone think that's a good idea? Do you guys want to have more questions? If not, we can just wrap it up here, which is fine. Oh yeah, good idea. Good idea, Jen. Okay, all right. If people, if Nastaria says yes, then we must. So yeah, I guess just another 10 minutes would be fine if we could do that. Dolce, that would be great.
Be able to.
I want so badly to make a fan part. I think it would be really fun. Because I mean, so many people, as we've seen, you guys have just so many cool ideas that could make an entire part by itself. I would read it. I would absolutely read it. Let me ask you guys, what's your favorite stand?
Good question.
I think that's it. I not to bust in with Epcot ball, but Dirty Deeds Done Cheap. Love Dirty Deeds Done Cheap. I love
it's
that.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Don't forget the dirt.
Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. Excuse me. Yeah. Very important. Killer Queen also. I love Killer Queen. Kira did not deserve Killer Queen. Kitty. Crazy Diamond. Love Crazy Diamond. Love the color scheme. Made in Heaven. Very good choice. There are so many that I love that I can't even like wrap my head around. I really love Paisley Park. I know that's a weird choice. I love Gold Experience. Yes. I love Killer Queen All Along the Watcher Tower. Soft and Wet. Soft and Wet. I love Soft and Wet.
In the next 5 minutes, we have a question from Jane. Can you give us tips on how to do not too repetitive human-like stands?
Aha, yes. Very, very good point. So what you're going to want to do is non-repetitive. I would say a fun way to make them not repetitive in terms of design or in terms of powers, because in terms of design, what you want to do, color is really important. So sort of look at the color schemes that have already been done. Yeah, design. Look at the color schemes that have already been done. I think that's the biggest determinator between them, as well as eye shape is pretty important. You're going to want to stay in style, obviously. I mean, unless you don't want to, because you can't. You don't need to. You're going to want to look at in terms of, usually there's the same humanoid body structure. I mean, if we look at Killer Queen, we look at Crazy Diamond, we look at Star Platinum, they're all just people, really, their bodies. But if you want to sort of go more exciting with that, you are going to want to maybe even add like small ornaments to it, like how Star Platinum has armor, has the scarf. I think that sort of sets him apart from Save the World, which is pretty much the same thing, but has like a jetpack, which kind of is cool and sets him apart. So really you're gonna want, I would focus on small accessories. I would focus on the head in particular. The head shape can be really interesting. You can add like maybe headphones, you can add maybe horns, ears, facial shape, literally like Killer Queen. Mouth shape. Does it have a mouth? A hat? Exactly. You know, you can do so much with the face that makes it, I think that's more the most sort of like, what catches your eye first about a stand, their color and their face. So I would really focus on making something different, something unique, something weird. For example, I thought that there weren't too many, I mean, of course there's Magician's Red, but there weren't too many stands that had a physical, like a beak. Yeah, Chariot Requiem has a cool hat. Add a cool hat to your stand, make it even cooler. Or a crown is cool, or make the head physically a crown. You know, there's so much you can do with it. You can make it into fire, you know, you can make it into like a flowy galaxy. You can do so much with it. You can make it so it has, you know, some kind of showing off its power, maybe a halo, maybe, you know, like I said, there's so much you can do with it. And you know, I trust that, you know, you're original enough to not do a repetitive design. Although it's, you know, it's easy to fall into the sort of, I guess, non-originality of just like a person face, and nothing really exciting about it. But yeah, just you know, go crazy. And then sort of if you feel it's too crazy, then pare it down a little bit. But yeah, I'd say work on the face shape and the face in general and the color scheme. Because you know, if you make a big purple person, first thing everyone's going to think of is, oh, Star Platinum. But anyway,
All right.
yeah.
We're about reaching time up, so do you want to wrap this up?
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, thank you all so much for coming. I really appreciate it. I'm so sorry I wasn't able to connect my iPad. I don't know what happened there.
It was a very good panel. We really appreciated it.
But I hope you guys all had fun and you got to answer some questions. My DMs are always open. If you want to contact me on Discord, if you want to contact me on Twitter, I'm ThisCatDraws there as well. I'm less, I'm an old person, so I don't know how to use Instagram very well, but you can contact me on Instagram. It's literally ThisCatDraws_. I also have a TikTok, which is Murkros, which I don't think JoJo people would be super interested in right now because it all just has Danganronpa stuff on it right now.
Danganronpa brain rot.
Danganronpa brain rot. It's, which, you know, making stands for other characters that are not in JoJo is super fun too. If you want to do an exercise.
That.
I was just thinking of that.
All right, guys.
Anyway, so thank you so much. Talk to me about Danganronpa.
And for the 18+ people, 18+ panels are now starting. We have a Not Safe for Work fanfic panel, and then we have the Ho 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 holiday drawing panel. So more art.
Art.
Have a good night if I don't see you, and if I do see you soon. Thank you so much. This has been fantastic.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, and have a great night. And thank you for attending. I really appreciate it. Bye. Remember to tag yourself in your posts,
please.
And